What is going on, bro? We lost last night, y'all. Also, y'all can see I'm wearing Georgia Southern because we just beat Georgia State, on Saturday. So if you went to Georgia State or you still go there, hold that L, okay? But look, that's not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about what happened on Sunday night because, I wouldn't say we got embarrassed, but it felt like we did. We need to talk about the 49ers offense and what they did to us that opened up the entire game. And then we're going to get into, what the 49ers defense did or really didn't do. I think everything on offense was just us, and you're gonna hear what I have to say about the offense too. So I'm just letting y'all know that when y'all see the next video. But let's get into the defense first because I really want to show y'all, that there's levels to this coaching stuff and that it was a measuring stick game, and we still have a long way to go if we want to be, competitive in this conference, let alone division. But let's go on and get into the film. So if y'all did enjoy this, be sure to like, subscribe for more. So let's get into it. All right, so the main thing I want to talk about first is like what they did in the run game, okay? And so let's just zoom out and let's think about it real quick. What does Kyle Shanahan like to do? We know him very, very well. Outside zone, inside zone, all of that. He's a zone run oriented coordinator. And what are we? We are a zone run oriented offense. So that means this defense is used to playing against a team that loves zone run. And that means any kind of zone action, the defensive line will be on top of that because they were not very successful doing zone runs in this game. In fact, after the first 15, I think they probably caught at least maybe 3 or 4 zone runs the entire game. And that also plays into how, this is a weakness of our defense where we always teach just get off the ball, get up field, penetrate. Well, in gap runs, we invite that penetration. We want you to get up field, okay? Because that means we could just wash you down, take you out the play, and we can run right past you. So this is a first good example right here where we're going to be running power out of I formation. Not we, but you get what I'm saying. Let me back it up a little bit because number 89, he comes into the picture and adds into this, and he creates an extra gap that we're going to run behind. So look, check this out. We're going to be, once again, everybody's washing down, except for this guy right here. He's going to be the kick out or the lead, rather. These guys are pretty much going to step down and go wherever. But Kyle Juszczyk, he's going to kick out Arnold Ebiketie. He's going to wrap around and be the lead blocker, okay? And he's going to go right behind that. And then eventually just fall back into another gap. Okay, so look, this is one of the things where, if we're just penetrating, it's not going to really stop anything. It's going to make things worse. So look, you see he's trying to get up the field right here, and he's just getting washed down. We're going to take you out the play. Cool. But let's watch this develop where you're going to see we're going to get this kick out right here by Kyle Juszczyk, the lead block right here, number 77. And it wasn't necessarily fit poorly, but, this is on the safety that, okay, I got to see that they're pulling. Let me get down here faster, okay? Because this could have been stopped, right? But as you can see, once again, we just weren't ready for this. We got to be ready for that next time. I don't know what the issue was, but hey, man. All right, this next play right here, we got to go into all 22 because it wasn't just the defensive line and the linebackers. It went into the DBs too. So look, same thing. We're going to get power again. We're just going to dress it up differently. So Kyle Juszczyk is going to motion. It looked like, bro, it looked like they're in the wing T offense from high school. It really does. Or what you call that, where they both kind of just sitting inside like that. It don't matter. But he's going to motion like that, and then he's going to come and be the kick out once again. You're going to have George Kittle be the lead blocker. Cool. Once again, everybody else is just washing down, but we get it. It's a power run. We don't go against power. We go against zone. We weren't expecting a gap scheme offense when we were talking about run concepts. So look, check this out. We're going to see once this gets started, you're going to see the motion right here. You're going to see let's look at J.D. Bertrand first, who had a terrible game. Look at this. He's just going to get upfield and blitz. Not sure what he was doing right here. Let's back it up again. Caden Ellis, I don't think he did a bad job right here, okay? Because look, you see he's going to fit. He's going to meet the lead blocker right there, and he's pretty much forcing that cutback, okay? Cut back into that gap. And if number 40 doesn't blitz, guess who can make this play right here in this little area? Number 40. Because look, they were on the 38-yard line. If he stayed true to himself, he would not have, given that up if he weren't called to blitz. Okay, I got to put that out there because if he was blitzing, then good play call by the offense. But look, now let's turn your attention out here, okay, because this is also where the run play went wrong for us. So a thing that they teach corners is something called crack replace. So when a receiver, he goes up and he cracks a safety, you're supposed to replace him right there, okay? And when we watch this play through once again, you're going to see he goes to crack Xavier Watts, and he kind of just follows him for a little bit. He follows him way too long. And then by the time he realizes the run is right there, now he tries to go make a tackle, and by then he's already got the first down. So it wasn't just the defensive line and the linebackers, but it trickled into the DBs because he was kind of slow to see it. And it pushed Xavier Watts out of the way, and Mike Hughes wasn't going to make that tackle anyways because Christian McCaffrey just ran right by him. Now, this one is really kind of annoying me because when we first started this drive, it was like inside the 10. Well, obviously, it's inside the 10 right here. But look, I showed this to y'all in the video before the game where they're going to have him offset like a wing, not a wing back, but a split back, really. Okay, and they're going to motion him out just to, draw the defense's attention because we're not even worried about this side of the concept. But look, they're pretty much going to run the guy's off, right? And he's just going to settle down in between the zones. I made it a point to say, like, if he's out like this, he's going to do something. He's going to run a route, right? I really wouldn't expect him to get a toss from that far away. Now, could he do it? Yes, but they have yet to show that or consistently show that, right? But look at this. I was irritated when I saw this because look at this. I don't know what our defense was doing, okay? Look at this. the best player on the field, and you're not even necessarily trying to get to him, right? You get to him after he converts the first down, right? You have to understand, like, in this defense, okay, we're rotating to cover 3, right? Kaden Elliss, I'm not even necessarily, like I said before, I told y'all they're going to align this defense in a certain way to where they get Kaden Elliss on Christian McCaffrey, or at least to his side. And you see whose side he's on? He's on Kaden Ellis' side, right? Granted, he's the only linebacker off the ball, but you see, it's a sim pressure right here. So now he's shifting over to his side, right? But let's look at this once again. You have inside help on this under route, okay? On the Ebike's dropping. You have free range to get your ass over there because you also know, hey, if he comes out, that's him. And he's going to pretty much leave me one-on-one. I'd rather this be a one-on-one than a free completion, okay? Because you have inside help on this under route. You know that the Christian McCaffrey, the best player on the field, is going out on the route. And you're just sitting on this. Now, granted, he's, the West Coast offense is all about horizontally stretching. So because look, he's going this way, he's pretty much going this way, or not going that way, but like, he's stressing him horizontally by going up. We already know he's going out. And it just creates a zone right here or a void right here. Now, once again, if I'm him, I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to guard the best player on the field. Because think about it, if he throws it on the Ebike's right there, it's catch and tackle at the very best, right? At least I covered the best guy on the field, okay? That's what I'm thinking. That's my mindset. Because look at this. Even if he threw this is a hospital ball. But he wasn't even worried about throwing it to him. He was worried about throwing it to Christian McCaffrey the whole way. And Kaden Elliss didn't see it. Jesse Bates didn't see it. I'm not sure. Now, Jesse Bates, he has a good alibi because, look, he's supposed to get that out route. But Kaden Elliss, what are you doing? Like, come on, man. Like, Devon Diablo going down changed our entire defense. It really did. All right, now this one was just good play design. I can't even get mad at them. So, look, they start out in a 2x2. So, that means 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay? We know we got 2x2. We're going to motion into a 3x1, at the snap. But we're also going to have Christian McCaffrey do a play fake towards the 3 receiver side, which is going to create a 4x1, okay? Which means 4 receivers on one side of the ball, 1 on the other. That's all we get. So, look, we're going to motion this all the way over real quick. I'm going to show you what he's going to do. So, at the snap, we know Jawan Jennings, he's going to run off the coverage right here. We know George Kittle's just going to run a crossing route. He's going to stop halfway because, the ball's already caught, right? Then we're going to have him do a comeback. Okay, that's 3 guys on one side of the field. Christian McCaffrey is just going to do a check burst, and he's out of there. And it creates a lot of space for him to run. Okay, and you're probably thinking, because look at this, I'm going to show y'all. You would probably think initially, why doesn't J.D. Bertrand stay low? Well, he doesn't. He's not supposed to, okay? Because, look, we're in a one-high defense. Most of the time when we're in a one-high defense and we're playing either man coverage or 3 match, even if this isn't man coverage, he has to take number 3 through, okay? He has to match him vertically to help the safety, okay? So even if, it wasn't, once again, if it wasn't man coverage, he has to take him out of the play. And he's taken out of the play right here, which is, once again, okay, Apple Watch, is going to leave him on an island with him. And I told y'all, bro, they're going to find a way to scheme him up and get the matchup on Kaden Elliss because he could not guard him at all. So, hey, man. And then the play that everybody's talking about online is where we had 10 people on the field. Now, I understand, we had an extra guy right here. It could help out the rush. But it's like, even then, Christian McCaffrey was wide open, man. Because look, we're still in a one high defense. We really weren't running man coverage, okay? But look, now this is where I get back on JD Bertrand, because look, we're in a one high defense, which means it's probably cover 3 match, right? If it was just regular cover 3, then I can understand. But let's look at this. If we know we tend to run 3 match, okay? If we're running 3 match right here, we know we have to take 3 through once again because they're in a 3-by-1, okay? Why not play this from inside leverage? Okay, because that means you can funnel him towards the safety, right? And you're going to be on his inside hip, right? Which is going to free up Kaden Ellis to, hey, now I can put my attention on number 2, okay? Which is, once again, the best player on the field. And to also defend these guys, when you're in 3 match, your job is to really just be a regular hook dropper. You're not necessarily attached to a guy. But once again, when you get that 3-by-1 check, now you have to essentially match him vertically. And he's going to be the only one free, which means he can watch the quarterback. But it's 3rd and 13. You think players, not plays. And who did they go to? This player right here. And once again, I don't blame him for necessarily looking at the quarterback and squeezing down on this OTB. But you got to think, bro, they haven't looked Kittle's way all game. They looked his way maybe twice. They're not going to him. They're going to the guy that's been cooking the game or cooking us the entire game. Because look at this. Jesse Bates, he has outside leverage. Cool. I think from Jesse's point of view, hey, if this guy breaks in, I got inside help. But this man's back is turned to the best player on the field. What did I tell y'all? They're going to get Kaden Ellis matched up on him some way or another. And once again, he's on his side of the field. And he just did a simple glance right. Everybody else just ran stop routes right here. And that was pretty much curtains after that, because we weren't going to get a stop right there. And people are going to complain about, oh, he pulled him into the end zone. We weren't going to stop him anyways, bro. Let's just be serious about this. But once again, Kyle Shanahan saw Kaden Ellis in coverage. He's like, I'm going to take advantage of him the entire game. And he did. And I told y'all this. Now, I do still think the defense played pretty respectable given the situation. They only gave up 20 points, and it was a hard-fought 20 points at that. And even then, they had a few short fields where it was off that turnover on downs, and then it was that fumble, right? So they worked off 2 short fields and only gave up 20 points. So the defense really wasn't at fault completely once again, right? It was just the offense, and we're going to get into that in the next video. But, hey, that was just once again, I told y'all before, Kyle Shanahan was going to have a game plan, and I predicted that game plan to a T. Okay, now I didn't talk about the gap run stuff, but I talked about how they were going to get Kaden Ellis matched up on the island one-on-one. They were going to go away from Devon Diablo. Now, they went at him one play, but he got hurt, and it was like, oh, we can really go at whoever we want to now, but we're still going to attack Kaden Ellis because he's on the field. But we're 3-3. It's not the end of the world. We play the Miami Dolphins next week, so that's a good sign, hopefully, if this team doesn't mess it up. But I feel good. Playoff team, you're going to lose some games like that because especially, it's a bad matchup. They know us really well, even though we haven't played each other. It's but just because we run the same systems, right? Robert Saleh runs the same defense that we run, okay? We run the same offense that they run. So it was going to be a tough game from the jump. But, hey, tip your cat off to the 49ers, man. So, look, if y'all did enjoy this video, be sure to like and subscribe for more. More coming at y'all. Goodbye.